and welcome to this week's Three Legs Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with
Dan.
Chris.
Lee.
one more race to go this season.
One more.
Good.
It's nearly over.
It's nearly done.
I'm glad it's nearly done because it's this time of year that I just want to fuck this off and get back to Australia.
We want pre-season testing already.
Yeah.
We want all the winter rumours as well. I say winter rumours. There's not going to be many winter rumours.
The winter rumours started in March.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
They're now called spa rumours.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of all done and dusted almost, isn't it? The driver market. A couple of things to sort out still, but
One of which may have already happened. No, not going into that territory again.
may have already happened by the time people listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Especially if you listen to it in 3 months' time.
Yeah. In which case,
Happy pre-season.
yay.
Hope you're enjoying the future.
Send us a message and tell us what it's like. Oh,
Paul.
I'm just throwing things all over the place.
Don't do that.
Why?
Because it goes clunk.
I'll be making some edits to that.
No, you won't.
No, you're right. I can't be bothered anymore. I've lost the will to cut. One more race for Alonso as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking, well, one more race.
In 2018.
Yeah, at least 28.
One more race in 2018 for everyone. But we're going to see Fernando a few times, aren't we, during 2019 in various
As
guises.
a mercenary driver for hire. He's just going to turn up for, apart from his WEC commitments. I think he's
Do you
just
think
going to turn up in one race in a series.
Do you think he's been accused of a crime he didn't commit?
If you can find him, maybe you can hire.
The A team.
The A standing for Alonso.
Yeah.
The Alonso team.
So at the moment, he's confirmed to do Indy. He's been talking about NASCAR. We'll probably see him in, I don't know, Australian supercars at some point.
The super trucks.
The ones that go over the jumps.
That'd be amazing.
That would be cool.
Stadium trucks, yeah. Yeah, they are awesome to watch. But yeah.
He doesn't seem interested in doing a full year of Indy, though, does he?
No.
The looks of it.
No. One thing I haven't put down on the on the running order, which is something worth mentioning, Bob Fernley.
Oh yes, that did happen. Yeah, McLaren have put him in charge of the Indy program, so it's looking more and more like they're going to go full time in 2020.
Yeah. So you don't put someone like Bob Fernley in charge of your IndyCar project. You know, Bob Fernley, former Force India team deputy principal,
Deputy
principal behind Vijay Mallya, wasn't he? And then Otmar Safnoy was sort of running in a position alongside Bob Fernley, and now Otmar is team. Is it CEO or COO, Chief Operating Officer?
He's now team principal.
Is he team principal? Is he?
Yeah.
And now Bob Fernley's left after the buyout from Racing Point.
Stroll Corp.
Yeah. So Bob Fernley, probably. Do you remember when McLaren hired Eric Boulier and Ted Kravitz on Sky? Went probably the least McLaren man you could think that they would hire, and they've hired him.
Yeah.
Well, I can't think of a lesser man to suit McLaren, as in the old school McLaren, than Bob Fernley. It's a very odd appointment.
Do you think?
It's not.
He comes across as McLaren. He's got grey hair.
I don't think McLaren's old school McLaren anymore.
No, it isn't at all. No, it's who's the right person for the job, and I think they've managed to, sign up Bob Fernley for the IndyCar project. It's something that Bob Fernley clearly is looking forward to doing, and it does, as you said just then. Looks like McLaren are going to go probably full time Indy 2020. Remember we were having that conversation as well about what to do with engines, and because obviously they can't run a Honda.
Yeah.
Well, Andretti apparently run a Indy Light with Chevy engines powering them, so it shouldn't be a problem. I want to say
Thanks to Nick Richardson for pointing that one out to us.
Thanks, Nick.
Just realised as well, using the McLaren scale, Bob Fernley looks like he should be in McLaren.
Do you think?
Yeah, because the McLaren scale is, do you look like the manager of an offshore bank? He does. Or do you look like the customer of an offshore bank? Which he does.
Yeah, a little, but then there are a lot of people you could put in that.
But bearing in mind, right, where we are, okay,
Carlos Sainz Senior.
we've all got offshore bank accounts.
Yes.
we are all
Technically, yes.
we are all the customers of offshore banks.
Technically,
Ours aren't offshore, everyone else's are.
yeah. Also, why offshore? I mean, mine's. I don't know about anybody else, but my bank is on land. Not in the sea.
Try and get in touch with the mine seems to be permanently online.
But yeah, technically speaking, we have offshore bank accounts, but that's due to our geographical proximity and not the amount of money that we hold.
If only.
So, question about McLaren.
Go on.
My favourite
Wi-
questions.
With this IndyCar team, Bob Fernley, obviously pretty good person to have as the team principal. Do you reckon they're looking at an exit strategy for Formula One?
I don't know.
Well, they've got a sporting director that used to own an IndyCar team. Gilles
Yeah.
de Ferran.
Yeah,
They've got
they've got
Well-
strong ties to America now. Have McLaren.
There's
it's
an American in charge.
pretty it's received wisdom that you're probably not going to win in Formula One unless you're a manufacturer nowadays.
And that's going to go on for a few years by the looks of things.
And for all the talk of cost capping, costs keep going up.
Yeah.
Would McLaren still be McLaren if they didn't have a Formula One team?
The thing with McLaren is they did a road car, didn't they? In what, 94, 95, that McLaren F1. It was like, wow, they've done a road car. And now they churn out probably hundreds of road cars a year.
Yeah, they're basically Citroen.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, supercar Citroen. They churn. Well, they are. They've got a production line and everything, which McLaren of old would never have had. They used to just focus on being a racing team. We would start questioning it if Williams started building cars and putting them out there, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
But it's now normal for McLaren to do that. So I think McLaren have now got their fingers in so many pies that they don't really have to rely so heavily on Formula One. So that if their racing team, McLaren racing team, has to up and go to another series, it's completely doable. With all this talk of Ferrari maybe leaving Formula One, maybe McLaren might do it before they do.
I think they would get a better return on investment for selling McLaren cars by being an IndyCar team than they would by being a Formula One team.
Possibly, and that's why they seem to be going with it, isn't it? By becoming a team, an entity that sells cars. Not quite like the Ferrari lifestyle that we've spoken about.
No.
Sell cufflinks and teddy bears. But yeah, along those lines.
Is it fair to say that the McLaren's owners probably don't give a fuck about motorsport?
No, that's McLaren's owners maybe, but Zach Brown definitely does.
Yeah, but he's just an employee, so it doesn't. Yeah, but
But he
if
owns
we're
his
talk-
own teams
if
as well
but
as.
if we're talking about what McLaren are going to do, if McLaren are being looked at as basically just a business by the people that own it, then Dan's idea might not be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I
no,
hope
don't
it's
think-
not right.
I
but-
hope you're not right as well.
Yeah. And just maybe one crossover season where Alonso is the driver for.
Oh no, I'd be thinking of like 10 years of crossover, and just having a plan for
To leave Formula One.
what if we decide there's no chance ever of winning a championship in F1 again.
Well, I think if Formula One is to go disappear, from the planet, you've got to look at where the teams are looking to go. I think most teams on the grid would look to set up something in Formula E as it is at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
McLaren could really do that. They don't have an electric car. They have hybrids, but they don't have an electric car or an electric car.
They will do that.
They will-
if they're
they will
gonna
have to,
produ-
yeah,
if
at
they're
some
gonna
point.
keep producing cars.
Yeah, they'll have to at some point. But the every car manufacturer will have to have an electric car at some point. I've written a news story down about Formula E later on, which I want to discuss. But the if you're not looking at Formula E, IndyCar is probably a viable alternative
Yeah.
to move your team from if you are going to move it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't see anyone like Ferrari jumping ship and go,
I
fuck
don't see
Formula
Ferrari
One.
IndyCar
No,
team.
Ferrari, Mercedes are definitely Formula One. They have probably more of a voice than anyone. It's your Williams and McLarens, the
Yeah.
Garagista teams,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that I don't think have a place in the long term,
I think.
or with the way things are going.
But the issue is with them moving to IndyCar, don't forget that's a spec series and they've got a spec chassis that they don't build themselves, they buy in. And
But at that point, you're just promoting the brand. Don't forget, we think of things like that because
Yeah, but it's cheaper.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we think of things like that because we're nerds. No, like the majority of other people will watch and see McLaren winning at IndyCar. They won't think, oh, that's a spec series. It's just, oh, well, they're winning IndyCar.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one thinks for a second that the Mercedes they buy from the showroom
No.
has any aero from the Mercedes that wins on Formula One tracks.
That's why I wouldn't be surprised if people that don't understand Formula One very well look at the Aston Martin Red Bull blowing up all the time and think that's an Aston Martin in the back of the Red Bull.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, there's no one going, I'm not buying one of those Tag Heuers. I wouldn't want that exploding on my wrist.
Even the biggest idiot knows that's a watch.
I mean, are there actually any car manufacturers putting their names in IndyCar? Obviously, aside from Honda and Chevy, who provide all the engines. But if you look at all the teams, there's no car names in there, is there?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. See, talking about the whole, would they be looking to leave Formula One because of engine? If you're a manufacturer, things like that, there are only a choice of two at the moment in IndyCar, really, Honda and Chevy. That's it. So,
But any of the it's a lot easier for any of the teams to win in IndyCar than it is for any of the teams to win in Formula One.
Yeah.
yeah. It's still a limit of choice, though, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? It's still, you're either Honda or you're Chevy, and at the moment, McLaren definitely are not Honda.
Yeah.
So
It's like all spec series, isn't it? I mean, you get spec series, but even in GP2, it's...
there's
Formula
dominant
2.
teams.
Yeah. It's obvious which team has the more money behind them and which has the better personnel, because those cars seem to be faster in that spec series.
yeah, but I think it's interesting that, as I say, we're all speculating this from the fact that they seem to be setting up an indie
that they've
program.
hired Bob Fernley.
Well, yeah, but they seem to be setting up an indie program rather than sort of just like, oh, can we just borrow somebody from Andretti and maybe ship over Gilles de Ferran from our Formula One operations
Yeah.
just for a weekend? No, they're actually building a full-on program for IndyCar, which says to me they're going to look to enter, if not maybe later on in the 2019 season, then definitely for the beginning of the 2020 season.
Yeah, and the fact that they said they were looking at 2019 and didn't do it, but they're hiring people for the team says that they're doing something more serious than, well, let's give Fernando a seat just somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our McLaren section over, isn't it? I think for today.
Yeah, I can't see anything else written down.
That's the first one of the day.
Yeah, until we get to the Abu Dhabi preview and then
legal
talk about it
requirements
being Alonso's last Grand Prix and Van Dorn's. Don't forget that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Moment silence for his career. Next thing up is
He will be back.
everything that is going on at Renault at the minute.
Well, everything's
at the,
going
at
on
the top of Renault.
Everything's going on top of Renault. Jerome Stoll is leaving, but he's not leaving until the 1st of January. That's a proper swap over.
Yeah.
He's head of F1. Renault's F1 sport team, isn't it? Renault
Yes.
Sport, Renault Racing, whatever you want to call it. But the
Cyril Beatable's boss.
essentially, yeah. But then you've got the what's his name, Carlos somebody. He's I've forgotten to write his name down, but he's been arrested in Japan for financial irregularities.
And the common thinking is he will be sacked in the next few days because
As CEO of Renault and Nissan.
yeah. Now this, of course, will have an impact on.
Dan's got his name.
Yeah, but I'm not going to try and pronounce it.
How do you spell it?
Ghosn.
That's like Ghost, but with an N on the end of it.
Gosen.
Ghosn.
Carlos Ghosn.
That'll do for now.
Ghosn.
Yeah,
Gosh.
that's going to impact on two teams in two
Jason.
different sports because Nissan have taken over the Infinity F1 team from Renault.
FE team.
FE
Formula E,
team,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
so
presumably he would be in charge of saying how much of the Renault organisation's budget goes to those teams.
Yeah.
So that could be quite a big effect.
Autosport reporting it was him being the architect of Renault's return to Formula One. That's fine, but I mean, I don't think it affects Renault's progress.
But Renault pull out and come back to Formula One on sort of 5 yearly cycles.
Yeah, and it might have some impact on the 800 million that was sort of suggested that they were going to get over the next X amount of years.
Yeah, and a boss coming in, if he is replaced, of course, looking to make their mark, could very well do that either by scrapping the Formula One program or
Which is-
doubling the budget to
Which
it.
is probably what's going to happen, because let's not forget Daniel Ricciardo has gone there. And
Yes.
seeing as how he's taken all of Alonso's luck when Alonso leaves Formula One, he's just testing it so far this year.
Do you know what that
Well-
means? That means Honda buyout for Renault.
No. If Renault scrapped the Formula One team, that'd be fine because Danny Rick would be out of contract. If they just cut the budget to almost zero,
Yeah, that would suck majorly. Did see an interesting article today, which wasn't interesting at all. Don't know why I said it was interesting.
So you saw an article.
I saw a headline for an article which made me laugh. That's the interesting part. It said Hulkenberg looking to beat Ricardo in 2019. Well, yeah.
Slow news day.
Yeah. Well, of course he is. No one wants to finish. But the first person you must beat is your teammate.
I broke the Formula One game the other day.
Oh no! What did you do?
I was at Monaco and I had a coming together with Magnussen because I pitted on lap one to try and jump some cars.
To try and long game it.
Worked well. Finished fourth from last.
Yeah.
Fair from starting last. But I had a coming together with Magnussen, which brought the safety car out, gave Nico Hulkenberg a free pit stop, and he won the race.
well done.
Hulkenberg with a free pit stop and he won the race.
I didn't even know the Le Mans circuit was on the Formula One game.
Dear Lord.
So I mean, it's all changed at the top of Renault, and there must be a few team members there that are thinking, "Shit, what's going on?"
Yeah. It's just a little bit of uncertainty. I wouldn't think that it's anything to worry about unless something comes out in the wash within the next sort of few days, weeks, whatever. It appears to be financial irregularities as in he's been...
Personal
he's-
financial irregularity.
He's underestimated the
How much
amount
is-
he's being paid
by both
in,
Renault and Nissan.
in official documentation.
Yeah.
That's so easy. I had quite the opposite accident.
Yeah. When applying for a mortgage? No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Right, next thing we got down, F1 looking to replace, what was that, unattractive races.
Yeah.
But they're not talking about unattractive to watch, they're talking about
Unattractive
races with
deals.
unattractive deals.
And Chase Carey has said that when Liberty took over Formula One, they inherited some really bad business deals from the previous incumbent. That would be Bernie Ecclestone.
Like the free Brazilian Grand Prix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're looking at
Who was the promoter of the races with the bad deals?
Bernie Ecclestone. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So they are looking to change a few races around. Now, this has got a few people speculating as to which races could be going.
Oh God, the British Grand Prix is going again. Silverstone's pulled out. It's signed its opt-out clause. Oh, it's finished.
Yeah, but Silverstone might be going, as well as Italy, Belgium, and Spain. All their contracts run out in 2019.
Replaced with Holland, Vietnam, Miami,
Exactly.
and New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean? So I can see why some people are a bit worried. Lewis Hamilton himself came out and said that he would prefer to be at racing venues that have got racing history.
He also said this week that if there's too many races on the calendar, he'd quit.
He said if there's 25, you won't see me racing at 25 races a season. Was what he said. So
Fernando Alonso says, "Hold my beer."
yeah. 20. It could be 23.
I think it'll go up to 25 eventually.
It could be 23 by 2020, but I don't think it'll go up any higher than that. For a couple of years after that.
Maybe, but I reckon it's going to be 25 races before, sooner rather than later.
But we've got the German Grand Prix as well. It's been financially struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's off the.
I mean,
off the calendar
they're
again.
only on year-to-year deals, but Mercedes want to keep that going, and they, what was it, 2 years ago when there wasn't one, or last year when there wasn't one, they wanted to pay through the nose just to get it back on the calendar,
Yeah.
and Formula One came back to them and said, no, it's too late.
The problem for Germany is, having been to both races, they're both horrible races to go to.
You said the German one was it Nürburgring you went to?
Nürburgring's one where you can't walk
Where you were
around the
locked in.
circuit.
Yeah, you were locked into your.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
penned in.
There's a car park for that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were only allowed to sit in that stand.
Mm,
Yeah.
So that wasn't very good. And Hockenheim as a race, you get you get the train to Hockenheim, and then it's a good half an hour, 45-minute walk to get to the gates of the circuit. And then you've got the usual hour's walk to get
Around
to
the circuit to get you where you need to be.
Going to go to. And even when you do that, like the facilities are awful. There's, I had a camera with like a 400mm lens on it, and I was using that to scan the circuit of what we could see to find a drink stand.
Where was it? Hockenheim?
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
I think we sent a small expedition party off, and they were gone for a good hour and a half.
And they came back with some warm drinks.
They came back with warm drinks and a couple of hot dogs.
Oh, good Lord.
Apparently, they bought 2 hot dogs for everybody, but some hot dogs did not make the journey back.
I mean, from the looks of things, certainly with the Vietnam race being added and all the talk of Miami, leaving New Jersey out of the equation completely, it's looking like Formula One themselves are interested in more street circuits.
Which is, I'm going to get onto the Formula E thing a bit later on, but just to chip in with this now, Formula E already kind of has street circuits, not wrapped up as such, but Formula E is on street circuits, and it doesn't always make for great racing, does it?
No.
Not really, no, because it can be too narrow.
Yeah, exactly. The Formula E circuits are too narrow. So I don't want Formula One to just start thinking, it has to be on a street circuit. And all right, okay, yeah, Formula One's a business, and the business deal has to be right. But I mean, there's no point in closing off like a city centre and just having races in city centres. There isn't. I'm sorry, but you have to go to racetracks, and you have to have purpose-built racetracks as well.
Places
newer
like
circuits.
Suzuka and Spa
Yeah.
are a world away. Just playing on the PlayStation, you
Yeah.
can tell
Yeah.
the gulf in difference between Spa, Silverstone with Maggots and Beckett's,
Yeah, and
and
Baku.
Suzuka, and Baku, and any of the point and squirt circuits.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a little bit worried at the moment as to what direction Formula One is going to take with their calendar, especially as it looks like it could be up to 23 races by the end of 2020.
Take Monaco. They can have Monaco.
Monaco, I think should be. I personally think.
Well, Formula E's doing full Monaco this season.
Yeah, I think Monaco should be a exhibition race for Formula One, and I don't think it should be part of the championship.
That's a nice idea. I like that. You have a
It's still there. It's still a Grand Prix, but I don't think it should be a championship event because it's boring as fuck
It is.
to watch.
But the only time Monaco's
Unless
interesting
it
is when
rains.
it rains.
So Monaco with sprinklers.
No, we're not going to Sprinkler Town.
We could hide the sprinklers on the roofs. It would work really well at Monaco.
Just get
They
it.
just think it was raining. We
Just
need
with-
not tell anybody.
Stand there with a hose, it'd be fine.
Isn't it fucking weird how it's rained in Monaco every single year for the last 40 years?
Oh dear. So yeah, I
It
don't know.
seems to dry up and rain again at really inopportune moments as well.
And it never appears on the team's weather radar.
I mean, going back to the circus thing, you don't want necessarily Silverstone to have a locked in sort of British Grand Prix thing. Would you? You wouldn't mind if it went to Donington, a London street circuit once. I'm not talking like a long term thing. But
I don't think Britain is owed a Grand Prix.
no, but to have a race in Britain, which is where everything, Formula One wise, Grand Prix wise, sort of started,
Yeah.
and then
It'd be a shame if we didn't.
Italy.
Silverstone deserves it for being a good circuit.
it is a good circuit, and they spent quite a lot of money remodeling it in recent years. Italy, can you imagine
And they
there
spent
not being
30p on the tarmac.
exactly? Can you imagine there not being an Italian Grand Prix? It'd be a bit weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's at Imola. It could be at Imola. That's fine.
Do you think?
It could be at Mugello if it wants to be.
Do you think there's this weird thing? Because there seems to be this trend in like a lot of different things, especially when you look at like cities becoming sort of smart cities and things like that, where things have to move forward and things have to evolve with technology as technology's racing forwards, and Formula One's sort of stuck in this position where they want the sport to be this super modern, ultra attractive sport to bring new fans in. Let's change everything. Let's change the cars, but the money simply isn't there to do the same with the circuits.
I think so. Yeah.
So that because if that's why street circuits are so attractive, because the circuits take care of themselves for modernisation to a certain extent, because you don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, but then all you're going to get from the business
I'm not
deal
saying
has
it's a good idea. I'm just
yeah. No, I see what you're saying, but the business deal has to be right for the circuits as well. Why are the circuits struggling so much? Because if you take Formula One away from traditional race circuits, the only sort of world class motorsport you're going to get on circuits is MotoGP, World Superbikes.
Yeah.
That's it. It's going to be for motorcycles.
I would struggle to. This is. It's probably harsh, and I know it's almost certainly wrong, but I'd even struggle to call World Superbikes like Premier
World class, yeah, I know what you mean.
With all respect to Castletown resident Jonathan Ray.
Yeah, but no, but do you know what I mean? It's
But no, it's a secondary series because World
Yes.
Superbikes is owned by the same company that own MotoGP,
Yeah.
and they just treat that as Division 1A.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly,
If you go from MotoGP to World Superbikes, you failed somewhere along the lines.
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s, they were on a par.
Absolutely.
In fact, World Superbikes was
Better.
above.
Does anybody
MotoGP,
remember
yeah.
when it was about 2005, 2006, Troy Bayliss came over from World Superbikes to MotoGP to do like the last two races of the season? And he won, I think, the last race of the season. He only did like two races in MotoGP and won one of them.
Carl Fogarty did a lot, didn't he, for World Superbikes?
Yes.
at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of credibility.
Yeah,
came
World
with him.
Superbikes is sort of it has drifted off. There's no denying that at all whatsoever. But yeah, it's kind of equivalent to just having MotoGP. But then again, the circuits that MotoGP uses, I'd love to see Formula One go into some of them, like Brno in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
But they require two completely different things for safety.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but I'd love to see they both use Circuit of the Americas, for example. They both use Silverstone for now.
But even MotoGP, they when they go to Circuit of Americas, they keep saying that they want more gravel runoffs, but that circuit is set up for Formula One cars.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because of mostly tarmac and concrete runoff, isn't it? But the which doesn't help when you're sliding along your ass
No.
when you come
Just
off
makes
on a
you
bike.
warmer.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and the
Talking of MotoGP, anyone see how many times Marc Marquez dislocated his shoulder this weekend, banged it back in, and got back on the bike?
Yeah, it was crazy. I thought he'd broken his arm at one point because he was seen walking up the stairs holding on to this limb that he had hanging onto the side of his body.
let's all remember though that he had to retire from the race because he crashed. Was it twice during the race?
No, he only crashed once during the race, but about 9 times before that.
Right. Okay.
But there was one crash in qualifying where he dislocated his shoulder, and you actually saw him just thump it back
Yeah.
in and started moving it again.
Fair enough. I used to have to do that with my left arm until I got proper treatment for it. Not quite as extreme as that, but yes, similar. If I picked something up that was too heavy at the wrong angle with my left arm, my shoulder will pop out.
And to this day, that's still the best Mel Gibson impression you've ever done.
Yeah, I had to put down whatever I've picked up and sort of just relax for a minute.
That's a lovely story, but the difference here would be being involved in a world-class motoring event at the time.
Which I have never been. So, but places like Phillip Island in Australia, the Formula One there would be amazing, surely.
Yeah.
But and again, Mugello in Italy looks like a great circuit when you see bikes going around it. I'd love to see what it's like with a Formula One car going around it.
This shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be difficult for any of the circuitry when you think about it. Because, your world touring, world-class motorsport is... I don't consider WEC even in that elite bracket, because it's not a spectator sport.
It's too long. I know it's World Endurance Championship, and that's the kind of point.
I think in
but-
terms of skill and talent,
Yeah.
yes. In terms of viewer interest,
A lot of my friends say that a Formula One race at like 2 hours. I mean, you're investing 2 hours if you watch it a little bit before the race and then a little bit after it.
I mean,
They say that's too long.
They're cutting all the WEC races apart from 2 down to 4-hour ones next year.
Yeah.
The only ones that are going to be longer than 4 hours are the 24 hours of Le Mans and the 1,000 kilometres of somewhere, which I can't remember.
1,000 kilometers of somewhere.
But my thing being here,
Best Neil Young album.
the elite tier of motorsport where you can go somewhere and say, right, of what the class I'm watching, these are the best guys in the world.
Yeah.
There's two. There's MotoGP and there's Formula One. So
I
what-
would say for all the crap we give NASCAR,
no,
that is still.
Yeah, no, but I
it-
mean, like,
it might not be a world sport. But
yeah, but no, but that's what I mean, like a world touring show.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
goes around.
world touring
How
cars,
can
but I
you-
mean it's poorly funded.
But so if you've got, even if you've got, say, 25 races a year, yeah, how can you not fill 25 circuits?
Yeah.
That means two things. It means you're either going to the wrong places or you're charging too much to get in.
Yeah. And this is what I'm worried about personally, is that Formula One start going to races similar to South Korea. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a good business deal. No, it was a rubbish race. I can't remember a decent race at that South Korean circuit, apart from the one I had on the PlayStation where I had to finish 10th, and I think I finished 12th. It was a good race, but I didn't quite make it. That was on F1 2013.
good circuits, or places where they can build the audience, or
Legoland.
preferably both. Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I mean, Lee.
You only want to race at Legoland just so you can stay at your mum and dad's.
They don't live there anymore.
Oh, they moved.
Yeah, they live in Northampton now.
Oh.
So the nearest circuit
Is now Silverstone.
Remember when they had
Centrepod.
Do you remember when we had those really, really high winds? Turns out living in Legoland was a bad idea.
Yeah. They're waterproof, though, so it's awesome when it rains. Imagine the grip on the circuit made out of Lego.
Yeah, imagine falling over though on your lawn.
Ooh.
Definitely wouldn't work for MotoGP.
No.
Head in the football. No, thanks. You were all right, thanks.
Just trying to go to bed.
Yeah, you couldn't not wear shoes in Legoland, could you?
No.
No, it'd be terrible. Anyway, that's where we're looking at the Formula One calendar for now.
I had a point to make, and I now cannot remember what the hell it was. I am just going to carry on
I'm
reading.
sure you'll
them
put
for
it
you.
together.
Oh, I thought you were blocking me.
One little block at a time.
Oh yes, Macau.
Yes, so we've all seen that now, haven't we? I missed it the first time you posted it, Paul.
I was.
I promise you, I wasn't being passive aggressive when I said scroll up.
Well, no, but I saw that you'd asked for the Formula lead times, and I hadn't seen that you posted that above that. You see, so I missed that entirely.
I watched that, and Becky was upstairs while I was watching the footage, and the video you sent round had a load of cars going into the corner and slowing down, and then suddenly one going through midair. I just said, shit!
I don't
really scared
understand how
Becky.
she had. Do you know how it happened?
Yeah, she'd made contact with somebody else, lost two wheels, lost the braking, couldn't slow down for the
Yeah.
corner, and then bounced off the curb
Yeah.
and took off.
But even that, she must have been
Straight
going
into that gantry
She
there.
must have been going at such an incredible speed when she hit the back of the car.
But they all slow right down, don't they, for that corner?
Yeah, I mean,
she
it's
would have
like-
been-
It's a 90-degree corner, so there's a
Yeah.
lot of braking going
Yeah.
into that one.
She was probably 100 or so, something like that.
Which is the speed that you're
Yeah.
doing
Oh yeah,
before,
yeah.
before
No,
you hit
no,
the
I
brakes.
wasn't saying she was
Yeah.
going. Like, it was. She was just
Yeah.
fucking YOLOing it into the corner. But it was just fucking incredible fucking speed.
Come on, small tree, please.
But it was the way that she there was a gantry there, wasn't it, like a TV gantry or something, and just like straight into it, no
Yeah.
one there.
No, there was.
Luckily.
No, there was. It was
Yeah.
that ended up. One of the photographers ended up under the car.
Oh, really? There's
Yeah.
a photographer on. I didn't see a photographer. Just
Under the car.
Yeah.
So yeah, because there was two little slots for the cameras because I saw one guy in one of the slots.
Yeah.
So there was people inside the thing. Fucking hell.
Well, Sophia Flörsch, wasn't it, who is a German Formula 4 driver, but she was driving a Formula 3 car
No,
for the Macau
she's been in
Grand
Formula 3
Prix.
Euro Series this season,
Right, okay.
which barely gets shown on TV, so that's why.
That's what's merging with
With GP3 to form the new
International
F3.
F3.
I just read as well, just before you came around, that apparently there's no risk of paralysis from a spinal injury.
That's
Which
just
is
yeah.
excellent
Fair.
news.
Yeah. She's well.
Yeah, what was it?
And everyone else involved is also
Yeah,
well.
What was it 7-hour operation this morning on a back? They were
Yeah.
taking it deliberately slowly to minimise any risk whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it seems that was the best way to go because she's got full movement in all four limbs.
Yeah.
Good stuff. That's what we like to hear. She's also part of the Dare to Be Different scheme of, or a supporter of the Dare to Be Different scheme that
She was
Susie
different,
Wolf,
like all the other cars were on the ground.
yes, that Susie Wolf runs as well. So, it's good to see women in motorsport. Not so good to see them going backwards, upside down.
It's
Through
not
the
good.
air.
Really and truthfully, it's not good to see anyone in motorsport in midair or in a camera gantry.
No, it's a woman making headlines in motorsport, but for the wrong reasons.
The last crash I saw that reminded me of that was Heidefeldt's at the first Formula E race.
Yeah,
That was very
yeah.
similar.
Heidfeld, or somebody likened it to Robert Kubica's crash at Canada. Like just we're all watching cars slowing down to this hairpin, then all of a sudden Kubica comes out the corner like on his side.
Is there halos on those?
No.
No.
No halos on F3 cars, which is why Billy Munger is still able to drive Formula 3 cars.
Yes.
Oh, so has he got issues getting in and out of a haloed car?
Possibly, we don't know yet. Anybody see the BBC documentary on Billy Munger?
The one that's on right now as we're recording.
Is it on BBC right now? Because
Yes.
it's on the iPlayer.
I've not seen it on the
It's been on
iPlayer.
the iPlayer all weekend. I watched it the other day.
No, I haven't seen it. It's good.
Yeah, very, very
I
good.
read the article, which
Brilliant.
was,
Brilliant documentary. I highly recommend that anybody who has access to the BBC iPlayer goes and watches Driven, the Billy Munger story.
And if you don't, then get in touch with Lee and he can point in the direction of some good VPNs.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, which is everybody else that isn't me. But just the circumstances around his return to racing are just phenomenal. They really are.
Yeah.
But it's 11 months after his accident where he lost both of his legs, and he's in. You see quite a lot of footage from the accident as well, which you didn't see, from the news reports at the time.
That is definitely one to look out for.
It really is something worth watching. Inspirational documentary. You don't want to call him he's inspirational just because he carried on without having any legs, but
But no, his attitude to
his
everything
attitude
is.
his attitude is inspirational. Yeah, didn't realize he still uses his longest leg as a brake. He still uses that as a brake. They just
And
had
the other leg he
they've had to
operates a
modify
pedal
it.
with.
They've had to modify it heavily, so that he can. His throttle is on a steering wheel, and his gear changes are on one side, and his brake pedal is a lot further up, obviously, than anybody else's would be. But yeah, it's just to adapt and be able to race. And he finished sixth. I googled it afterwards. He finished sixth in this year's Formula 3 Championship. It's not too shabby when you got like 28 drivers or something on the grid in Formula 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that British Formula 3 series that has random races at Spa.
Well, I was amazed when we
Yeah, it does.
we
One
interviewed
race.
George Russell. I was amazed to find out that he was George Russell's teammate, and just to give, considering George is on his way to Formula One now, just to give our listeners a insight into the caliber of young driver he was, considering his ex teammate is now going to be a Formula One driver. He was
karting they were teammates in.
I think so. Yeah, it was either that or one of the
I'm
single
pretty
seater
sure he said
ones.
karting.
Yeah.
So, no, it'd be interesting to see how his career progresses after this.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, the FIA had to change rules to allow disabled drivers in single-seater cars, but you see all that in the documentary. It's definitely worth watching.
That's definitely one to look out for. Talking to the BBC, they have got the British rights to Formula E
Yes,
for the upcoming season.
yes.
And they are going to show all the races online, except for one, which they're going to show on TV. And it's still going to be better picture quality than we got before on 5 Spike.
Yeah.
So are they all going to be on BBC Three, which is now an online-only channel?
It's just going to be on the BBC Sport website or on the red button.
Right, okay,
I think BBC Three is just youth programmes.
okay.
It's a shame. It's kind of a shame. It's
I think
red
BBC
button
Three is what that
because-
documentary's on.
Yeah, because it means you can't record it, doesn't it? You can't record the old red button.
Yeah, but they're going to be on iPlayer as well.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
And YouTube, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Formula E have said that they're going to make all races available on YouTube. I don't know if they're going to be shown live in the UK, but or any other countries that have got a live TV deal. But they are going to ramp up the YouTube presence, and all races will be able to be watched
which is good for Formula E.
Yes.
Now, here's my thing I wanted to talk about with Formula E. Formula E are jumping into places where Formula One is failing.
Yes.
Free to air TV, for example, like the BBC. All right, okay, we all pay a license, but you have to have one in the UK anyway.
Moving to Sky is the worst thing Formula One has ever done.
I think there needs to be a free to air TV package as such. You know, it could be, as we've always discussed before, just the ident video, sort of 5 minutes before. Doesn't have to be loads of coverage. Here's the grid.
I
Here's
don't
who
think the
started where.
highlight thing works though. You know, like half the race is live and half the race is highlights.
No.
I know the attitude can be, oh well, at least it's something.
No.
But since that's happened, even like the free to air,
Oh, the audiences have dropped.
Formula
Yeah.
One has just hemorrhaged viewers.
Yeah. Now, Formula E have done the right thing here. Now, we have all said how much we like the second gen cars, haven't we? How much
Yes.
they
Yeah.
look amazing,
Yeah.
and there's quite a talented crop of drivers in Formula E for the upcoming
And
season.
Stoffel.
And Stoffel Van Dorn, and Gary Pafford, and
Maybe Alexander Albon.
possibly we'll see, depending on what happens with that other Toro Rosso seat. Formula E is
the
still
ginger lad in there as well.
Ferrucci. No, I don't think so. He's
No,
not
the
gone.
British guy, ex McLaren.
Oliver Turvey.
Yeah,
no, I
is
don't
he
think
still
so.
in Formula E? He was in last year, this
Was
year. Yeah. If he is, I'm noticing a pattern with certain Formula E drivers.
Ex McLaren. Felipe Massa is Formula E, isn't he? This
Yep.
year,
Yeah.
this season. Sorry, because they run it over 2 years.
Although there's only one race in 2018 in the 2018-19 season.
Good.
Yeah,
They need,
no,
to, get,
'cause they'll-
need to get rid of that.
Yeah, because they will do. I'm sure that they're looking to do this whole
Yeah.
sort of one season in a calendar year thing.
Yeah, well, it started off in the first season. It started in September, didn't it?
It did,
And
yeah.
it's got later and later every year.
Yeah, the caliber of racing, they're all on street circuits still, aren't they? Which are quite narrow.
Yeah.
But no car changeovers now, is there?
Nope.
So it's one car does the whole race rather than coming into the pits and getting into a different car because batteries.
Yeah.
So they're pushing the technology forward, the battery technology forward, to be able to do this. Formula E it started off a complete shambles. We took the piss out of it.
Yeah, Oliver Turvey is in this Formula E season,
I
by the
wouldn't
way.
say it started off as shambles.
Dan was a fan of Formula E, and we were all like, "Yeah, but it's shit."
Oh no, it was shit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a shambles.
It was
It was a Formula E race that started 3 legs, 4 wheels off, so
The first
something
Formula
good
E
did
race.
come out of it.
the very first Formula E race started 3 legs, 4 wheels.
There was some great racing in the first year. I think they've screwed up the broadcasting.
Yeah.
Because as a fan, I missed most of last year because I didn't know the races were on.
Now it's on BBC, and
And
they're
they're
gonna
probably not going to be advertising it at all because it's online.
No, they probably will. I imagine that you'll at least get. If you notice with the BBC, ever since they stopped showing Formula One, that Formula One's now just tagged on the end of their sport reports.
Yeah.
I bet you the same thing happens with Formula E.
Probably.
If Formula E gets tagged on the end of their sports reports, this happened in Formula E qualifying. You can watch the race on the red button, whenever.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're going for.
But I think the good thing is it's going to be one place to watch it rather than...
Is it on Spike? Is it on Motors TV?
Is it
on
going to be
Channel
on Channel 5? Is
5?
it BT? Is it Eurosport?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I see that's the thing I think they're missing out with the red button, which was mean about recording it. Like me personally, I can't be alone. It would just be easier to set it to record on a set-top box. It's a series,
Yeah.
link it, and then then you can just leave it and watch it when you get a chance to watch it.
Which you can do with the Sky Q box.
Yeah, but you can't record the red button, can
Yes,
you?
you can.
Can you?
Yeah.
How?
You go onto the TV guide and you got something like channel 980, which is BBC red button.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, well, I'm sorted. Fuck the rest of the world.
But the other thing is Formula E being on street circuits, as we were talking about before, with Formula One being possibly looking at going to street circuits. We're going to see Formula E maybe. I know Monaco's a street circuit, but they're doing the Formula One Monaco street circuit this year. Are we going to see that Formula E may be doing a couple of comparable circuits to Formula One? Not saying Azerbaijan, but I'm just trying to think. Possibly Silverstone.
I was just going to say, I think you're more likely to see it if Formula One, like whoever's in charge of Formula E, like if you take the the broadcasting problems out.
Yeah.
Someone clever is behind this. So if Formula One is going around saying, "Oh, we might drop this circuit, we might drop that circuit," it would then make sense for Formula E to go, if they were going to add one, go, we'll add Silverstone, even if it's the Silverstone short circuit or something. They shorten the track.
I think the reason that's unlikely is it goes against the ethos of what they're doing, which is
The Formula ethos.
the Formula ethos, which is being sustainable. It's not just about electric cars; it's also about having the races in the city centre, so
Yeah,
you don't
I know what you
have
mean.
100,000 people driving out to Northamptonshire
But I don't
or 20
see-
people to watch a Formula E race.
I
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
I don't see the issue with having 2 or 3 races like that. Because I think I see Formula E more comparable to IndyCar than I do Formula One.
So this
The way it's
Yeah.
run, and for me that's
It's gazebos, isn't
Yeah,
it? Rather
yeah.
than big, expensive trucks that become pit buildings
yeah,
and
it
things like that.
feels, It crazy.
Like the
thing
World
is,
Rally
Yeah,
Championship.
it's got some like real technology in there, but it feels more grassroots racing than Formula One does, and it.
Well,
Yeah.
it is in a way because there's no other electric single-seater formula around.
I think if they were going to do a traditional circuit, Imola, because
Yeah.
you got the train station right on the circuit, more or less, haven't you?
Same with Monza.
Is it Monza I was thinking of then?
Or I
Monza's-
don't-
yeah,
I-
Is it both of them?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to Monza, but I know Monza.
You've been
does.
to Monza, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you literally go from Milan to Monza. You get
Yeah.
off the train and then you're in the park where the circuit is.
I'd be interested to know how the batteries would cope with being full chat so much
Yeah.
without
Well, the races are shorter in Formula E, aren't they?
Yes.
I suppose the only other thing is they are talking about still bringing in the old charging lanes, aren't they, into Formula E? Sort of what wireless
Yeah.
charging things. So that would probably be easier to implement.
What's that, charging whilst you drive through the pit sort of thing?
I can't remember what they said, or there'd be certain parts of the circuit that charge the car, something like that.
Right, okay.
Um,
Because that's something that you would use in road technology,
But
which
that-
is where Formula One is starting to it's not falling behind, but it needs to look at these things.
yeah,
And
well,
if
that'd be easier to do with street circuits, is what I was going to say.
yeah, oh yeah, it would be, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Formula E is catching up.
Just get rid of fan boost.
Yeah, get rid of that. That's rubbish. But the Formula E is catching Formula One, and we did say this a few years ago. We said, well, they're miles off at the moment, but it's possible they could catch if they do the right thing. They're doing the right things.
Well, this is going to be a big year for them, I think, if they can make a step forward. But I do think the big issue with Formula E is they have a bigger problem with overtaking than Formula One does, and not because the cars can't overtake each other, because the tracks are too fucking narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is
So-
why circuits,
Yeah.
Silverstone, or I don't know, Spa, someone like that. Just obviously it's going to be a much shorter race. You're not going to get 50 laps around Silverstone or Spa in a Formula E car, but just somewhere that's a recognised arena as a Formula One venue.
Yeah.
Much like they're already doing with Monaco, and just be like, look, world, look what we're doing. We're on an actual circuit with runoff areas and things like that, and this is what we can provide for you. That's what Formula E needs to do. And if they do it, I think Formula One needs to start worrying a little
I
bit.
do think that they need to tweak things slightly with Formula E, though. I know it's all about road relevance, but the car technology, I think, can be enough about road relevance. There's something about seeing a high performance car like that with what look like road tires on all the time feels weird.
It does, yeah.
So I would say slick tires for dry races.
But again, I think that's to do with the ecological impact as well as everything else. Because if you're only taking one kind of tyre for
Yeah.
any circuit, whether it's raining or not,
Yeah.
you're shipping a lot less stuff around.
That's great, but they've got to look at bringing people in, and it sounds like such a stupid thing, and I think it's one of those cerebral things that you don't notice unless you're interested in motorsport, but there's something about them. It makes them look
Slick tyres look like race cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But the problem is, of course, that they're driving exclusively on road circuits that cars go up and down every day.
Yeah.
With treaded tires,
yeah.
and the slick tires probably can't handle general use tarmac.
Of course they could. All Indy cars do street circuits, have slick tyres on. Nothing worries when Formula One goes to street circuits or semi-street circuits.
Do Formula E cars, and this is stupid question time, do Formula E cars go quick enough to warrant having slick tyres?
I don't actually think they do.
In order
I
to
would-
get the heat into them, because the sign.
No,
Go
they're 'cause-
karts have slick tyres, and Formula E cars are quicker than go karts.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Don't forget that it's
As I said, stupid question.
Yeah, because you're thinking of Formula One tyres there, but that's the tolerances of Formula One tyres that they have to get to those temperatures to work. Formula E cars would just have a lower operating window.
If they were specifically
slick
made,
tyres,
if
yeah.
specifically made, yeah. I mean, there's track day tires you could put
Yeah.
on your car. I mean, would it be worth just looking at having track day tires? You know, with just like slightly cut grooves. You know, they're barely road legal. You're not supposed to use them on the road, but you can.
If it was me, I'd whoever the tyre supplier is for Formula One for Formula E, who is it? Is it Hankook? Is it Hankook?
Can't remember if it's Hankook or Michelin.
I think it's Michelin.
Is it? Would be to turn around to Michelin and say, right, what our whole thing is green. What is if you were going to bring out the green tire? What would it be? Would it be completely synthetic? Would it be
Yeah.
completely like biodegradable or however biodegradable rubber can be? But I'm sure it could be spun away like plastic
Made
bags.
from plastic recycled from the sea.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Get in touch with your man with the big, the big floaty thing that's cleaning out all the seas.
And make tyres out of it.
Yes. Fixed it.
Demand
Like that, Dan. Me
Yeah.
and you. I'll fix Formula One. Me and you can fix Formula E.
the floaty man who's cleaning up all the seas. The floaty man, the man with the floaty thing who's cleaning up all the sea.
The lad, yeah.
Yeah, who's one of his main partners is Nico Rosberg.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, Nico Rosberg decided he was going to give lots of money. This was the kid, wasn't it, who asked for? He said he needed £100 million, $100 million to get this off the ground, and it was genuinely, definitely going to work. Did his presentation in front of everyone, and they laughed. So you're not going to get $100 million to do this. He's just like, well, that's what I need. And he set up this startup, and I think it was he had $100 million within 4 days, and within a month he had $1 billion.
The last time. Yeah.
That's how many donations were
Yeah.
made because his pitch was so impressive.
I'm not surprised Nico Rosberg's involved with this because the last time there was a face turn this fucking drastic, Ebenezer Scrooge was shouting out of a window.
Oh God!
Yeah, don't forget, Nico Rosberg is a shareholder in Formula E as well.
Yeah.
And also Energica electric motorcycles. So don't be surprised if
Who
Nico
are
Rosberg,
going to be the support series to MotoGP next year?
are they the electric motorcycles?
Yeah.
Energica. Don't be surprised if they turn up at TT0 next year. Keep an eye out for Nico Rosberg.
We'll be on stalking duty.
Of course, we always are every year. Got close to Prince William this year, ish, sort of. Length of this room away, maybe. Close enough.
Should we go back to Formula?
Close enough with the rifle you had anyway.
I don't have any rifle.
Should we go back to Formula One?
Yeah, why
Yeah.
not?
We've got a Grand Prix to look forward to this week.
The last Grand Prix
The last Grand Prix.
of the season.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi, which is now the traditional season finale, the Twilight Race.
I quite like it as a closing race of the season. It's just a shame that the races at Abu Dhabi aren't always very good.
The most interesting one recently has involved going really slowly.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago, wasn't it, when Hamilton tried to back Rosberg into Ricciardo and Vettel. I can remember one of the early Abu Dhabi Grand Prix where Liuzzi and Michael Schumacher decided they were going to try and make a baby with their cars by mounting each other. Yeah, exactly. It should be a better race than it is.
Yeah.
Like, the circuit looks great because you've got sweeping turns through sector 1, hairpin, long straight, chicane, long straight, and then Monaco-y sort of section to the end. It should be brilliant,
Yeah.
but it isn't.
No.
And I don't know why.
No.
Is it trying too hard? I've no idea.
I just think it's a badly designed circuit.
Herman Tilke.
Yeah, it is like classic Tilke.
Classic Tilke. The yeah, maybe just trying too hard, isn't it, to be a decent. It's trying too hard to be a decent circuit that it ends up just complicating issues because you can't set up for the whole circuit because Sector 3 is too twisty and Sector 2 is basically just a straight.
And that ought to make for an exciting race because
That's what I
in
mean, yeah.
theory, you should have people who can go fast on the straight overtaking there, people going fast through the corners overtaking there.
Yeah, but that doesn't work out that way.
No, you have people holding people behind them on the bits where.
Yeah, it's not good for overtaking, and it could be a problem just intrinsic to Formula One. I don't know of any other series that uses
it's
Abu
after that
Dhabi.
big long straight that whoever decided that left-hander should be like that, going into that little chicane after that massive big
Yeah.
long straight, because that should be the place to set your overtake up. And I know you can overtake there, but it's so hard because it's so narrow. If you try and go up the inside, you naturally drift trying to take the guy you're trying to overtake out of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, if Vettel's going to have an accident anywhere this weekend, with his wonderful understeering Ferrari, yeah, I don't know. I quite like it as a spectacle, with the sun going down. It's very
Fireworks at the end.
Yeah, it's very metaphorical. The stands always seem to be quite full. I think it'd be a nice Grand Prix to go to, but I don't. It's never provided the brilliant race. We can never remember a really good race at Abu Dhabi, can we?
This goes back to the discussion we were having about Formula One and the calendar. I can't help but Abu Dhabi is one of those circuits that came along when Bernie Ecclestone was more interested in where the paddocks were rather than what the circuits were.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, maybe Abu Dhabi's just because the man who built it all, he built like a town around it, didn't he? Reclaimed land, built a race circuit, and then built the infrastructure and everything
Yeah,
to
I
go
think
with
So,
it.
yeah.
For the sole purpose of having a Formula One race there. I don't.
With the artificial marina in the middle of
Yeah.
the desert.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not in the middle of the desert. It's
In the desert.
it's next to the sea.
It's close enough to have a desert that it shouldn't probably not be a marina.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Quite right. Yeah. So, the Yas Marina circuit, isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes. But the
I mean, the big news that we're expecting before the race is allegedly Robert Kubica is going to be announced as taking the second Williams seat,
I'm surprised that hasn't already happened.
thus putting Lance Stroll out of a job.
I'll believe it when it's confirmed.
Because if
Yeah.
that does happen, and Williams make the announcement, what is Lance Stroll going to do next season? Because he's not been confirmed for anywhere.
There's only 2 more seats left, isn't there, in Formula One? That's one at Force India.
Well-
and, oh, wait.
Albon's seat in Formula E might be coming open, mightn't it?
It might be if he can get the seat at Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
So Lance Stroll might want to look at Formula E. No, we all know where he's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a dangerous seat to get at Toro Rosso at the minute, because you'll go if Gasly turns out well, you are in.
You've got 2 young people
Yeah.
in the main team who are going nowhere for a long time.
Yeah, so you could what you're going to sit around Toro Rosso for a decade.
If your name is Danny Kvyat, yes.
I think Danny Kvyat would be happy to get 2 years anywhere, let alone 10.
Yeah.
Be happy to get past turn 10.
Traditionally, though, Abu Dhabi is a circuit that works out quite well for Mercedes, isn't it? They won every race there, apart from when Vettel was doing the Red Bull thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
since the turbo hybrid era, they won every race at
So I'll
Abu
tell you someone
Dhabi.
that didn't win.
Paul's Wikipedia in free.
this will be
as
the-
fast as he can.
Alonso definitely didn't win in Ferrari.
no.
Red Bull won 2009, 2010, and 2013.
So this is the 10th running of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Wow, that's crazy. We're going to die soon.
Other winners, of course, Kimi won in a Lotus in
Oh yeah, that's when he knew what he was doing.
2012. Lewis won in a McLaren in 2011.
That's when he.
Oh well, we were wrong.
No, but then since the turbo hybrid era,
Since 2014. Mercedes have won every year. 2 wins for Hamilton, 1 for Rosberg, and of course Bottas won last year.
yeah,
That's happening this year.
Bottas is not going to get a single win,
No.
the solo win this
Nope.
year. Don't know, not sure.
Vettel has to win this race. He has to.
To set himself up.
It looks like he's going to get a bit of an advantage because Lewis may need a new internal combustion engine, which would give him a 10-place grid drop
Oh right.
because he.
Starting from the pit lane. Replace the whole lot, starting from the pit lane, let him go and just see how fast he could go. Almost like they did in Brazil
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Just do that.
I must say, Hamilton's got it now. Vettel, because Vettel went from starting from the pit lane to second.
Yeah.
one year.
Second or third, yeah.
It was second.
Was it?
Yeah.
I remember him muscling his way past Jensen
Yeah.
Button.
'Cause so, nobody started from last and won the race before.
He finished third
Was it
when he
third,
started from
was
the pit
it?
lane, 2012.
You must be thinking to yourself, if you're if you want records, you've already won the championship. It would be, if anybody can do that right now with the machinery they've got, it's Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. Yeah. If
I mean,
I were Mercedes,
Hamilton-
I would do it for a laugh. I'd be like, just replace the whole lot. Starting from the pit lane, turn everything up to 11. Off you go, mate.
The only thing is, starting from the pit lane, I don't think it counts as starting last.
Does it
If,
not?
if you want the
well,
whole,
Vettel started from the pit lane, didn't he, that year?
yeah, that's I'm correcting myself as I'm going, but yeah, I think if you'd have to start last on the grid for it to be that record.
Why?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's thoughts in my head which I've heard other people say on television.
I'm pretty sure John Watson, the Northern Irish driver in a McLaren, what was it, something like 19th, I think he went from to win a race.
Yeah.
But nobody's done it from lower down than that.
We're going to have to get Sean back on, aren't we?
We will.
Now he's finished filmmaking.
Is he finished now? Because
Um,
Columbus Crew are out of MLS for the season.
Yeah, I think he's still got to finish the third version of the documentary or something.
Yeah.
But he will be back on soon. Although he is in Abu Dhabi this weekend presenting to the F1 Experiences crowd from on board a super yacht.
Yes.
I happened to notice him tweet that the other day. So,
So if you're going to Abu Dhabi, give Sean a wave.
probably not while he's presenting, because if you're presenting on a yacht, the last thing you want is a wave.
Nah, you want a wave.
It'll knock your flipboard over.
No, you'll be fine.
Well, that one died on its arse.
Sank like a stone.
I'm guessing that current isn't something you need to worry about in the Marina Bay.
Just don't get on the yachts with too much money in your pocket.
Evian doesn't move like normal salt water.
So, what we're reckoning for predictions? I've got Sean's here.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, it's as I say, it's Mercedes dominant since the turbo hybrid era, and even one of the other wins was a Mercedes win, wasn't it, for
Yeah.
Hamilton? So Mercedes power. So yeah, it's hard to look past that at the moment.
Yeah, as an
It all
engine,
changes when
yeah.
we get to FP2.
Yeah, as an engine, Mercedes have won 5 out of the 9 races.
Yeah, more than that, isn't it? 6.
No, the last 4 in 2011, Renault have won the other 4.
All right, okay. Also, oh, wow, Renault could win it. Hulkenberg.
I'm going to go against what Lee said. Bottas is going to win this one.
Hang on, I've got to
He's
type that.
quite good at circuits like this. 'Cause it's not too dissimilar to Russia, is it? But it's just in the desert rather than in a cold country.
And if Hamilton's got a bit of a handicap
they
as
had to
well.
bus in artificial snow for the Winter Olympics in Sochi.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So anyway, the rest of your predictions, Dan.
Hamilton second, Vettel third.
Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel.
Sean is also going with the Bottas win, with Vettel second and Ricciardo third.
Ricardo.
Well,
Brave.
you just said Renault could win this.
Well, I was having a laugh. I didn't mean Tag Heuer.
You meant actual Renault?
Yeah.
Nico Hulkenberg.
Why not?
I am going for a Vettel win with Raikkonen second and Bottas third.
What was Sean's?
Bottas, Vettel, Ricardo.
Because I need to go brave to win. I'm going Hamilton, Kimi, and
This is making
Ricardo.
great radio. Ricardo
has Ricardo got any penalties we know of?
doesn't look like it at the moment.
Yeah, Ricardo, Hamilton, Kimi, Ricardo.
Okay, and Chris.
Go big or go home.
Because it is all to play for.
Despite the fact that it's a Mercedes circuit, I'm going to say Kimi to win because he knows what he's doing.
And they've picked the wrong Ferrari driver to take into the team next year.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. Vettel to Sauber. So Kimi for the win, Bottas second, Hamilton third.
So, just as a reminder of where things stand on our predictions, there are three of us in the running for the win. Let's have a look. Dan, you're on 52 points. Chris, you're on 54. Lee, you and Sean are tied for second on 58, and I am leading with 64, and there are 9 points up for grabs.
Imagine where it'd be if I wasn't taken out for one race.
You didn't put your predictions in.
I wasn't asked. Everyone else gets asked.
You'd have got it wrong anyway. If you want to have a go at your own predictions, go to our website, threelegs4wheels.com, and have a look in the games section, and you'll see 2018 Grand Prix Prediction League, and you can put your top three and pole and fastest lap in there, ahead of the full-on competition that we're doing for next season with prizes.
I'd just like to point out that saying I'd have got them wrong anyway, considering I've been taken out for one, and I'm still in with a chance of winning, would suggest I'd have probably got them right.
I'm also not going to put my money where my mouth is, and I think my money might just go down the toilet this weekend on an Alonso podium just for shits and giggles because I won't get to do it ever again.
But just a thought, while people are going onto websites and talking of putting your money where your mouth is, if you fancy going to patreon.com/3legs4wheels, you can sign up to basically help us keep going. There's an extra show that we do every week. There's going to be other rewards coming soon. And you can donate anything from $1 a month upwards, and it basically keeps us in software, spares, web hosting. Thanks to our friends at Cloud Above for doing the hosting for us.
Thank you guys, Cloud Above.
Yeah.
And basically keeps us ticking over, and maybe the occasional packet of biscuits, because we need biscuits to record this.
Because biscuits.
Right, I do believe it is total shunt time. I better shut this laptop.
That's,
All internet's off.
yeah, well, mine's back in my pocket. Just trying to find out what the odds were on an Alonso win.
Well,
Quite long.
Do you know what?
Well, he couldn't even win the WEC race at the weekend.
No, second.
The wrong Toyota won.
Yeah.
I did think to myself when you said that, sport does have this way of throwing things up
That's why I've
to
gone.
create stories.
That's why I've gone Kimi win.
Because I'm sure I would have to check up. Didn't Johnny Herbert win the Stewart's last race or something like that just before they went? I'm sure it was the last race of the season.
It was-
He won.
I think it was close to the end of the
I
season.
will look this up.
I'm convinced it was the last.
I'm
race.
pretty sure Johnny Herbert won the 99 European Grand Prix in the wet because it's on the Johnny Herbert story
Yeah.
that's spoken about on Sky quite often. He looks
98 European, he
was it
would have
98 was
won.
it?
Yeah, where everyone in front of him fell off the track.
Yeah, where it just rained a lot, and he looked up at the clouds and thought, "That looks like rain. I best pit for wet tires." And he did a Hamilton basically before Hamilton did it.
Yeah.
Just as he left the pits, it absolutely chucked it down.
just threw it down on.
Yeah, for 100 meters, he thought I've made the wrong choice, and then he's like, "No, I haven't."
Let's have a look. I can't find it.
You kept zooming past the results.
Yeah, that was Jackie Stewart's personal results.
Ah.
Look at Jackie Stewart.
Because I typed in Stewart F1 and that's what it brought up.
Ah,
It's going to happen.
So if I look at
Stuart Ford.
Type in Paul Stewart missed opportunities.
of which there are many. Oh, by the way, I finally watched that Williams film as well over the weekend. It's good.
Oh, that was something we didn't have in the news. We might as well have a quick chat about it.
Johnny
While I
Herbert
listen
won the
to
European Grand Prix just 2 races from the end of the season
98.
in 99.
It was 99.
99.
that. Yeah, just before we do Total Shunt, did anyone else notice that Rob Smedley has spoken about leaving Williams?
He says there are many problems in many areas of the
They need to
team.
improve.
What is it? They need to attack all areas.
Yeah, attack all areas to make significant gains. That sounds like a man that has left out of frustration, not a man that wanted to go or was made to go.
Yeah, the whole thing's broken.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Anyway,
But wasn't he responsible for their performance?
yeah, but if you're already going into a mismanaged team, Joe, what can you do? You can say, I think this is what we should do. But if that's then getting to whoever's above you and it's not doing that, you know, I still think performance title is just that. It's a title for him in the sport. You're still obviously working with other people. But anyway, that's just me being on the Smedley fan club.
Who's this week's from?
This one is from Chris. I have no idea how to say your surname. It has far too many letters.
Flood.
It's certainly not from me.
If we find out, I'll put it on the website.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris, me. I was born
Yay.
in 1984.
I was born in 1984.
This one isn't from Chris, it's about Chris, then.
I've been involved in Formula One as well as DTM.
Okay.
My
Very
last
perfect.
Formula One
Paul
race
di
was
Resta.
in 2013.
Paul di Resta. Okay.
When was Adrian Sutill's last race?
No,
I'd like a guess.
yeah, Paul di Resta.
Paul di
Resta?
Yeah.
I'd like a guess. Oh, you going with Dresden?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. My last Formula One race was in 2013.
We just
Paul
had
di
that one.
Resta.
You just gave us that clue.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm German. I'm German and have lived here my entire life.
Adrian Sutil. I don't know, to be honest with you.
I've never won a Formula One championship nor race, yet I'm quite a recognisable name in motorsport.
Ooh.
Andre Lotterer.
I thought he
He's
was
Belgian.
Yeah, good point.
Another clue before the guess?
I have umlauts in my name.
Bob Umlaut.
Motorhead.
I have umlauts in my name.
I'd like a guess.
Oh, God. That journalist from Amateur Motor Ranch Sport?
Toby
Toby
Gruner.
Grunther.
Yeah, he's got umlauts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks maybe about the right age, give or take 15 years, because his picture's only tiny on Twitter.
He looks younger on an iPad.
Sutil doesn't have any umlauts, does it?
No, I don't think he does.
Neither does Adrian.
No.
Nürburgring does.
Yeah, Nürburgring does. Nürburgring has a lot of umlauts.
Yes.
Yeah, Nürburgring.
Nürburgring.
But that was born before 1984.
The South,
The Sudschleifer.
yeah, might not have been born before. Actually, no. That was the opening of the. I think Dan's onto something. That was the opening of the Nürburgring, wasn't it? Where they had the Mercedes race where Ayrton Senna beat all the well-established Formula One world champions before
In
he was
DTM cars.
yeah.
I have a much older sibling that is significantly more famous than I am.
The
Nordschleifer.
Nordschleifer. Yeah, and the last Formula One race in 2013 as well. Makes sense.
So are we basically saying that the Sudschleifer is the Ralph of Nürburgrings?
Yeah.
Such is life.
Brother Ralph.
I am currently part of several touring car and endurance series championships. I'm putting
Schutzschleifer.
That's sounding familiar.
Yeah.
My older sibling is host to a 24-hour race.
Yeah. 24 hours of the Nürburgring, Nordschleife.
Number 10, speculation for my comeback into F1 for 2019 or 2020.
Robert Kubica.
Kurbitzer with the umlauts.
His German brother, yeah.
Are you the Nürburgring Sudschleife?
I am he's got the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Yes, I am.
That is a good one, Chris.
Yeah.
Very
thank
good.
you for that.
Thank you.
Right, how do you get a total shunt in?
Message it to me on Twitter in a private message at a total shunt.
And if you want to tweet the rest of the show, you can get us at 3 Legs 4 Wheels or
At Dan Dankleton.
At Flood21.
or at Pablo100. Or you can always drop us an email, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, we're on there as well, and Instagram.
Yes.
Right, quick mention for Formula Lee. Last race of the season, there is only 1 point between the top two, Barnaby Lee and Max Williams, 1 point apart. Going into the last race, which is Abu Dhabi in the dry in a Mercedes, and you've got
Thank you,
until
Lee.
Monday the 26th. Am I getting the date right? I don't
Yeah,
know
you
what
are,
the
yeah.
date is
Monday the
today.
26th.
7 o'clock UK time, 2 o'clock Eastern. And we will have the big announcement and see who's won what next week. And there are prizes to be given out, which we will reveal at the time.
Are we doing a winter series Formula League this year?
Yeah, but can we have a week off so I don't have to play that with spreadsheets? I can just have 1 week being spreadsheet free.
It's up to Lee, really, I suppose.
Yeah, that we do it after Christmas.
Yeah.
Because you're coming up to Christmas, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll have a break. We'll have a break
Yeah.
from Formula Lee until after Christmas. So,
Okay.
Then something nice to take us up to testing then,
yeah,
isn't it?
so we'll have our own Lee season testing between next week and Christmas.
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah, that'll do. We will be back next week with our final race review of the season. Probably a final review of Fernando Alonso's career so far.
And who wins the prediction league?
Who wins the prediction league between us? Who wins the listeners' prediction league? And who wins Formula Lee?
Yep.
Basically, end of term party. Mm-hmm. Can we bring games in?
Can do.
Oh, that'll be ace. Right, we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.